In this episode of New Jersey Living, we are continuing our best of downtown New Jersey neighborhoods. We've been through quite a few now, so if you have not seen some, click back, scroll back into a few episodes. You're going to see this blended in with a few others, but we are taking a deeper dive in comparison to what we did maybe a little over a year and a half, closer to 2 years ago. When we kind of really first launched the channel and did some of Jersey City. But now we're going to do more specific dives into neighborhoods. And today it's going to be Newport. So Newport is that, I want to say if there's a scene, your iconic views of Jersey City is often right off of the Hudson, as though you were looking into downtown Jersey City from New York City. And you see the skyline. So if any skyline shot that you see of Jersey City, more often than not, more likely than not, it's of the Newport section, which is relatively new to New Jersey. So if we go back historic wise, this would have been Waterfront and marshland when we date back. So I have friends who have been lifelong Jersey City residents or grew up in Jersey City and can speak back to the days where none of this existed if we turn the clock back a few decades. But here we are. We have something that very much looks like an extension of Manhattan in the Newport section. So we're going to take a look today and get an idea of what are some of the perks, maybe a few challenges as well, but certainly what the real estate market looks like for Newport. All right, so sit back, enjoy. Let's take a dive in now. Welcome to New Jersey Living. My name is Corey Jones. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of New Jersey, team leader of the New Jersey Living Group, host of New Jersey Living, the podcast. My brokerage is Coldwell Banker, and I thank you for joining again for another informative episode of our channel. We aim to cover all things New Jersey. So, of course, the real estate market, social scenes, places to dine, iconic locations. If any of these things interest you, this is the channel. This is exactly where you want to be. So go ahead, be sure to click like, subscribe, notification bell, and stay tuned for updates that we have just like this. You're going to take notice that during my episodes, I do cover in the real estate components of it, market activity that has already transpired. So there's souls that we tend to focus on this channel, but my website does have more updated information with what's active on the market. So be sure to just check my website. You can click and get specific information, just punch in an address, get information on that property, even set up for yourself a custom search, which gives you a little bit more updated information than what's on Zillow, because those are often, as some of you may already found out, already under contract, have been accepted, and yeah, it's just too late to do anything if you have interest in that property. Also, for those who are looking to buy, I do have my buyer's guide here. So do take a look. You can see the QR code right here. Go ahead and scan or look down into my details to get information on a buyer's guide. Moving into the region, there's something for you as well. We have a relocation guide for those who are coming in from a different region or maybe even a different country, as many of my clients do. So thank you again for joining us. We aim to give you great 5-star content. And let's go ahead and get some of this started now to show a little bit more information on Newport. So Newport, we're going to be flashing some footage, some walking footage through the area. Newport, as I mentioned before, it is relatively new compared to other areas of downtown. If you've maybe watched my Harsimus Cove or Hamilton Park episodes, I reference how those are very much historic areas. Even Paulus Hook, you'll find properties that are still standing today that were built in the late 1800s. So a lot of the history of Jersey City right there in those locations. Newport, on the other hand, is very much new. All right, so we're going back 30, 40 years where if we turn the clock back to where someone my age and a little older was a young child or maybe a young teenager, and they went down to this waterfront area, it would have been a lot of marshland and not at all what we see right now. So in Newport, we see our tall buildings. We have the mall, which we're going to have a lot of footage on the mall right here as well. A beautiful waterfront area that you can walk along. And even up until now, you would think that this is an area that's heavily built up, which it is. There are more projects online coming soon to Newport as well, with some newer buildings. A lot of mix of both rental and condo. So a lot of buildings do have a lot of rental inventory, but we're going to focus, as we always do, as it pertains to real estate, on the specific recent sales for the market purposes. So as we walk down Washington Boulevard, which is the primary road going north and south, cutting through the Newport area, you are finding pretty much everything off of this road: your restaurants, your retail, your hotels. There's a Target, there's a ShopRite, BJ's, very close proximity to this. So I'm giving you the impression there's a lot of walkable shopping and just general casual recreational locations all along this stretch where you don't really need a car at all. Very much similar to Manhattan. Like if you extended some of Manhattan across the Hudson, this is exactly what it would look like, right? So when some people say that sixth borough, referring to Jersey City, this is part of the reason why. There's a light rail that travels through. So there's a Newport light rail that takes you further into either Hoboken if you're traveling north, or if you're going further south, takes you further into Jersey City all the way down to Bayonne. So there's a lot of transportation there. The path is there also. So you've got Exchange Place not far away. You've got Grove Street Station. This is very much walkable. There is Newport. Newport is there's a path station for Newport as well. It takes you right into Manhattan. That particular line will take you directly to 33rd Street eventually, and terminating at 33rd Street. So this is a hub of commute, in terms of a commuter's delight, if you will. They're going to absolutely, and I say they, meaning New York City commuters, are absolutely going to consider this as an option when they're comparing this compared to either Manhattan or, say, downtown Brooklyn, or, even if they're thinking about some other areas that Tribeca, they're thinking some areas that are going to be kind of close and give them ease of access to Manhattan. This is going to be one of those considerations right here. So as we're taking a walk through, we're going to dive into a couple locations. What I'm going to first focus on right now, as you've probably already seen some of this walking footage that I have shown up, is the mall. So the mall is really, it's a complete mall. You wouldn't probably even notice or fully appreciate the size and scale of the mall just by walking or driving by. If you drive through the Holland Tunnel, either coming out of Manhattan, going into Manhattan, is something that you will never really visually take notice of, because the mall is not too elevated in terms of height as those are really super tall building. But as you can see here, as we take some walking footage and we cross over through somewhat of a skywalk from the buildings on Washington Boulevard into the mall, it is a full scale mall that is very, very much on par with the other malls that we have visited in our previous episodes. So we've been to, if you've been watching, we've been to Paramus, and we've been to Menlo. We've been to one other mall that I'm not thinking of right now. It just escapes me. I think it might have been, maybe it was Willowbrook. I think we went to Willowbrook out in Wayne. So yes, we've been to a few malls. This is on par, very much on par. Everything that you would look for in a mall setting as a nice shopping or recreational experience, casual shopping experience, this would provide you with just that. So yes, food cuisine is going to reflect also the diversity that you see in Jersey City, and the diversity factor multiplies once you get downtown, particularly in the Newport area, because again, it's an extension of Manhattan for practical purposes. All right, so just taking some of this footage, and we are now going to drop into 4 properties. I'm going to focus on 3 of them that are more reflective of the general real estate market in Newport. The first one, price point wise, would be very much an entry level option, but let's take a look at that one first. Our first property, we're stopping at 20 Newport Parkway. Flash up a quick map as to where Newport Parkway is located. You see on that map some of these buildings, it looks like it's right there off of the Holland. Now, obviously the roadways that you're seeing, they start to go underground, because obviously the tunnel is going to be underwater. But these locations are the newer buildings. All of them are going to be relatively newer buildings that are along the waterfront. This was unit 1005, so we're talking 10th floor, and 1 bedroom square footage at 840 square feet, and the HOA at 646. Now the HOAs, for the most part, in many of these buildings, are going to include both your water and your hot water. In this case, it also includes gas. Parking normally is not in that number. Parking is something that someone normally takes on as an additional fee. Typically, these parking fees are somewhere $200, maybe $250 monthly for those who want parking. And parking, as you would imagine, and we're talking about Manhattan-like, we're talking parking garages. There is some street parking, very limited, but most cases you're going to be in a garage kind of scenario, and the building will have a garage where you have an opportunity to rent a spot. And that also means it's not assigned, it's not deeded to the unit, which means that parking spot always comes attached to the unit. That is not uncommon in a lot of other areas in that general area, particularly in Hoboken, but in some cases in Jersey City as well. So we're going to jump directly over to the next property, which is in the same building. That unit number is 1207. So staying in the same building, we're still at 20 Newport Parkway, unit number 1207. Here we get to see a little bit more footage, and this is blending in some exterior footage and some of the views, the foyer, hallway, some of the common areas, fitness area, office spaces. This is very, very common. Most of these buildings are going to have just some very outstanding amenities, and many of them do have doormen. Many of them will provide shopping carts, for example, for those who either order food or go out shopping and are dropped off at the building. You'll have a shopping cart that you can load up and take that up to your unit, and it just stays down into the foyer area. Many of them, like we see here, have rooftop terrace. And a lot of other amenity and common spaces. So this is part of what you're buying into: location, proximity to the city, but also all these other amenities where you'll have fitness, office, recreational rooms, maybe even like a library, professional office area. A lot of these buildings have that catered to people who normally are going to look for those amenities that are on par with what you may find in Manhattan, just across the Hudson. So this one did not list square footage. It did list HOA as 1,022 per month, heat, water, gas, and hot water, so only electricity. And again, you notice there's no parking. Again, same building, probably same concept of parking coming at probably about $250 monthly to add to that. So this one, and I'm sorry, I totally did not, and I saw you already saw the flash up for the previous property. That one was roughly $750 in that range. This property was listed at $1.35 million, sold at $1.29, and 70 days on the market. Not uncommon for one condo lasting a bit longer than what we find with single families, and you've probably heard me say that before in other episodes. And the other is the price point. So price point plus condo in this location is not uncommon at all to stretch out into 40, 50, in this case 70 days on market before basically consummating the sale. So let's jump back into some footage. I want to get some footage of just the general walkthrough. I mentioned already that there is a path station. So we're going to just take a quick view of that walk and that stroll into the path, what that looks like. And just around the corner from the path, a lovely park area. Just really, it's a very, very lovely scene for a general walk, or if you are casually looking to just take a stroll from one area of Newport into the mall area, or maybe down along the restaurant scene. It's a great place to be able to spend a casual afternoon. So take in a little bit more of this footage, and we'll jump back into our third property. Our third stop is at 75 Park Lane South. This is unit 3302, so on the 33rd floor. So this is at a higher elevation than what we've seen in some of the other properties. This one directly by Newport Green Park, which is a very lovely public park at that. So it's not as though it's exclusive to Newport residents. Lovely park, has a dog park right there in the mix of things. Also, there's like a little beach section. So if you have not seen, I'm going to go ahead and flash up a quick clip from my episode on Newport from, like I mentioned before, about a year and a half ago, just to give you an idea of what I mean by beach scene. There's like a mini beach scene right there at the waterfront edge of the park. Very nice touch. So this is located closer to that park. And this particular unit is a 2-bedroom, 2 full bath unit listed at 1.5, sold at 1.5, on market, a total of 124 days. So here's a case in point where it may take a little longer for some of these units to move, but still generally getting close to the list price. Square footage, 1,127 square feet, monthly fee at $958 per month. And I'm looking at maintenance, pretty much the same: heat, hot water, water. This one says air conditioning, so maybe I'm not sure if electric 100% was included in that or not. But what we can tell for sure is that this one was a scenario where did not get maybe a lot of activity right away, but because of what this had to offer in terms of, again, going back to location, and we take a look at some of these photos, the contemporary design, you're going to find these buildings are newer, so you're going to find more contemporary and higher end finishes. You'll find more of the luxury variety finishes, and your amenities. Just again, looking at some of these common spaces, looking at the views, looking at the terraces, looking at the aesthetic of the building, that gives you a greater appreciation for why that price point for that location. So this is I've been in a few of these to do some general walkthroughs or previews, and they're I'm quite exceptional. So price point compared to what you're going to get in Manhattan, night and day difference. So my New York viewers, this is something to definitely consider before making a decision on rolling the dice on something right there in Manhattan or maybe downtown Brooklyn. It's worth it. All right, so before our last stop, we're going to take a look at more of the waterfront scene with this particular walking footage. As I mentioned before, there is basically kind of a boardwalk, riverfront walkway that goes right along down throughout Newport, and just catching great views, lovely breeze coming off the water for this time of year. Obviously, you'll be thinking very differently in a few months once we're into like November, December, but for a July, August afternoon, it is great to be right there in that scene, taking in some of the sights and cool breeze. So take in some of this footage before we jump into our last stop. Our final stop is at 2 Shore Lane, and this is unit 204. And Shore Lane is really just a block over from where we just were. And so right there by the park once again. This is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath unit that listed at 1.639, sold at 1.6, 7 days on market. All right, monthly HOA is $1,155 per month, and that is including hot water, gas, and water. All right, so this one, let's just take in some of these photos here just to check in some of these same aesthetics. And we're seeing, again, common theme. Everything that you're going to pretty much see is going to be higher end finishes, appealing to those that like a more contemporary kind of aesthetic for their living environment, appreciating the scenes, the views that you're going to get outside the building, all the amenities that come along with the building, being there right there by the park. All these things go hand in hand with, again, being in Newport and having the luxury of being really steps away from path, if you're talking about getting into New York City, or light rail, if you're looking to conveniently get down into Hoboken if you want to go further south, or get into Bayonne if you want to go further south, or get into Hoboken if you wanted to go further north. There's a lot of conveniences that are right there. All right. There's ferry access. If you want to ferry over into New York, that's an option for you as well. So this is, again, location that is really, really unique compared to really any of the others of the downtown neighborhoods. Different aesthetic in terms of appeal. You're not getting the historic and the rustic and the more classical aesthetics that come with like the brownstones and just those really general historic locations in Paulus Hook and Harsmith Cove and Hamilton Park. But if you like something more contemporary, cutting edge, and have a lot of amenities and conveniences that are steps away from you, Newport would certainly be the place to be. So I'm hoping that this content has served well in terms of bringing some value and some insights into Newport, and maybe those who have lived in Newport and like to share more information about their own experiences, please do drop some comments right here. If you are living there right now, by all means, give us some feedback. So yeah, please do. Let's make this a community page where everybody can share insights, experiences, ask some questions. You can always reach me directly as well, and even schedule an appointment to connect with me through either my Calendly link that is right here in my descriptions, or just reach out directly by text message or by email, whatever is your preference. So once again, be sure to click like, subscribe, notification bell, stay updated, stay tuned. And I would love to be able to, again, connect with anyone who is looking to make a transition, be it rental or purchase. And if you're looking to sell also, my team, we would love to be a part of your journey. And for those sellers that are out there that are comfortable and not planning on doing anything, you're just kind of watching some content about what's going on in different locations, definitely be aware, stay aware of your value. All right. So reach out. We provide as a courtesy, a free market update on your property. And that's for right now, of course, but you should probably do that annually just to have an idea of where you stand in the market, because your home is absolutely an investment in addition to where you lay your head at night every day. All right. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in again. I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. So stay safe and stay tuned to New Jersey Living.